what Director Berenguer has to say about what he said last night, and then we'll go forward.
Okay.
Thank you.
At the NCAC meeting yesterday, I did say that I had talked to the general manager, and he had discussed the fact that there was water. And it was kind of on the buzz somewhere where in fact, it was an email that came from Mr. Gruber when the evaporation pond was being filled by runoff. And I mentioned that there was a culvert, and in discussing with the general manager, there was a culvert that was stuck that allowed surface water to flow into the percolation pond. I had discussed with him the fact to find out how much brine we had in the pond and how much water may have gone into the pond, and it would be diluted by a 20-to-1 ratio. I did mention that. And then we could, how we're going to get rid of that was an issue, and perhaps we could investigate, and that was from me, not from Mr. Gruber. Mr. Gruber wasn't saying how he was going to get rid of the water. It was my comment to him that perhaps we can do something about pumping the water out. That's what I said. Now, that was my opinion. It wasn't the general manager saying that. It was what I had said to the general manager to investigate that.
May I
Excuse
respond
me,
to then,
Ms.
please? I think I have the right to respond.
Excuse me, Ms. Dickinson, this is a time for public comment. Can I have the general manager?
This is not public. This is the agenda item.
Yes, it is, ma'am, and you've had your time. I would
No,
like
I
the
need to
general manager
this is a
to...
response.
Madam President.
Can I please have the general manager respond to this concern? It's a concern.
Thank you, Madam President. With regards to the rains, I've covered it pretty extensively in my general manager's report. I assume that everybody reads the general manager's report, and so I was asked and agreed upon that for reasons of brevity, so we could spend more time on regular agenda items, that I would just present my general manager's report, and if there's any questions the board could ask at that time. And so I think that's fair, because I don't really need to go over everything if it's already written. The other thing is, during the storm events, I consistently, in an ongoing basis, communicated to the board on the status of the storms. With regard to the San Simeon well field, we were able to run the San Simeon 1 well during all the storm events, and we only turned off wells 2 and 3 as a precautionary measure. And there was never any immediate threat of, and the word contamination was used. That's just not true. Historically, the San Simeon well field has always experienced what is experienced when you get a heavy flow, especially when Rocky Butte gets a lot of rain and it comes down through the tributary and down the San Simeon Creek. But the water department did a good job in communicating to me what the status of the well fields were, and I communicated that onto the board and onto the media. Regarding the brine pond, that's an issue that we have absolutely, frustratingly saying so, is absolutely have no control over that whatsoever. What we did do is take corrective action so it would not continue to fill. And the reason it filled is because the state parks property adjacent to the brine pond, water was flowing and cascading from that property into a culvert, and that culvert was blocked. And so it forced it up and over the road and worked its way into the brine pond. So we're working with Caltrans, where we've sent emails to state parks. We're working with the county. I'm sorry, not Caltrans, with the county. And so that was one of those things caused by natural disaster. I was not going to say anything, but I will, because that's who I am. Frankly, I just think it gets really old when Ms. Dickinson continues to take pictures and sends them to Regional Water Quality Control Board and takes up their staff time and takes up our staff time. Now, she can do whatever she wants. She's a private citizen, but I got to tell you, it wastes a lot of our time. It wastes a tremendous amount of Regional Water Quality Control Board staff time. They have better things to do. If I was to do a public records request, from State Water Resources Control Board, from Regional Water Quality Control Board, from the county, from the California Coastal Commission, on the 4 or 5 people that I would probably fill this table. And at some point in time, I'm going to do that, just to show you that it borderlines harassment. And she knows it. And I got a call today, again, from Regional Water Quality Control Board. They have better things to do than be Tina Dickinson's servant. And that's how they feel. It also discredits the district. And so with that,
Mr. Gruber, I still didn't hear the answer to the question about what we were doing with what's in the brine pond. I also didn't hear you communicate. You communicated to the staff, which is great, and you communicated with us, which is great. I didn't hear any communication with the regional board directly from you, not through causes.
The regional board did come out because there was photographs taken and sent to them.
Because that's their job.
Well, it's their job, but it didn't give us the opportunity. We were running around under a disaster preparedness situation. And so Regional Water Quality Control Board comes out and says, why didn't you contact us? Well, we knew about this less than 24 hours ago, and we had every intention of calling you. But when everything else is going to, you know what, in a handbasket, we got other things to worry about. So, of course, they were sent the photographs. And then Ryan Lodge came out and looked at it, and we haven't addressed how we're going to remove that water yet. There has been no conversations about how we're going. That conversation will include Regional Water Quality Control Board. It's going to have to be. We might just let it evaporate out, but there was no discussion or any plans to unilaterally or take that stuff and pump it into the creek. It's the urban legend. It's the social media. It's the folks that are doing everything.
No.
Listen, let me finish. It's the folks that are doing everything they can to discredit this district and that project.
Okay, and let's.
And they're going to continue to do it. I mean, it's just they're going to continue to do it because that's the strategy.
I think everybody's aware of a lot of the communications going on. I was just trying to get a question answered that was with respect to the pond itself. I also think that we need to be proactive with the regional board with this project because they have their eyes on us already. And we know that we have people in town that are keeping these agencies informed, and they have expertise that may be able to help our staff in dealing with some of these things because they're professionals. That's what it's their job. So we should look at them not as an enemy we're trying to hide things from, but rather as an ally to try and get it right, because they do have expertise that we just can't afford as a small district.
There couldn't be anything else farther from the truth. I mean, Regional Water Quality Control Board has hundreds of public agencies that they're responsible for. We don't hide anything from them, but yet they're led to believe that we do, and so I'm going to have, and I hope they're listening. I'm going to have a sit down, come to Jesus meeting with them, and let them know that when we're responding to an emergency situation all over this community, and we didn't immediately pick up the phone, what they should be happy about is prior to me coming here and shortly after I arrived, we had massive sanitary sewer overflows every time we had a storm. We have not had one sanitary sewer overflow. And so we work very closely with the regulatory agencies. It makes it difficult, if almost not impossible, to continue to have a good, healthy relationship with them when we have certain individuals within the community doing everything they can to disparage the reputation of this district. And that's really what it's all about. You know,
I'd like to suggest that we do set up a meeting and have that come to Jesus meeting so we can get straight with this agency, because regardless of what other people in the community are doing to our reputation, whether it's positive. Excuse me, Mr. Gruber. Let's do that in the next month, and let's meet with them and try and get on the same page so that we have procedures in place, so when they get pictures before we've had a chance to call, they know that we're already on the list of things to do.
Mrs. Dickinson is the reason Justin Smith left this district.
Can we please
No, I'm going to...
Mr. Gruber?
Mrs.
Mr.
Dickinson,
Gruber, this is a board meeting. Can we please not run into the attacking people.
She
is
attacks
not-
us. She sends pictures to the regional board. She harasses our staff. She
Mr.
caused
Gruber,
she
it's
left.
not,
She caused
this
our
is
water
not
supervisor
professional,
to
Mr.
leave.
Gruber.
Okay, but I'm
I
going to tell you.
understand the frustration,
It's
sir.
not frustration. It's idiocy. It's harassment.
Director Berenguer?
President Rice, I'd like to respond to Mike. I didn't get all
I
of my
just
3
wanted
minutes
to-
because he interrupted me. I want to respond
That
to
is-
Director Berenguer, please,
No,
not to anybody else.
Excuse me.
Madam President, I would like to apologize for not making it clear at the NCAC meeting last night that it was my suggestion that perhaps we could pump the water out. It was just and the general manager never acknowledged that. He didn't, it's something that I had on a conversation. He didn't acknowledge that at all. There was no intention of the district in doing. I apologize for misleading, for not being clear enough on it, was my opinion. And I appreciate that a citizen called me on it too. So I apologize for that.
May I please
Thank
just
you.
respond to the